When you look at Monet's art, you feel nostalgia for a memory you never lived, yet somehow still feel. His paintings are like vaguely remembered dreams, the kind you wake from too soon and keep chasing in the quiet moments that follow. You see beauty, you see softness and light, but what you don't see is the relentless battles behind it. Monet fought his dad, he fought the art elite, he fought poverty, he fought depression, he fought himself. And maybe that's why his paintings feel so alive, because he had to fight for every bit of beauty we see in them. First of all, Claude Monet doesn't come from the polished world of the Paris art elite. Nah, he grows up here, by the sea in foggy Le Havre, among the workers and sailors where ships come and go. His dad wants Claude to join the family business, live a safe, respectable life. And guess what 15-year-old Claude does instead? He skips school, wandering around the harbor here, sketching anyone who catches his eye. Shopkeepers, neighbors, even his teachers. Claude Monet, aren't you supposed to be in class right now? Selling caricatures again, huh? Look what I found at Gravier's shop. This one, that one, and even this caricature of me. Oh, I see. You think yours is a caricature? Stop it! The best part, he is actually making more money than his teachers. And what do you think his strict father thinks of this? Claude, even if you're making money, you call this art? Learn something respectable at least. I mean, would you stop? Then one day he meets Eugène Boudin, a local painter who brings him out to the beach and says, "Forget the caricatures, Claude. Look at this. This is how you do it. Feel the moment and capture it." So they go on this expedition together to a local forest to paint. This painting is from his mentor Boudin, who is 15 years older than Monet. So, how's it going, Claude? Making any progress? I don't know. You mean like this? Unfortunately, around that time, his mom dies. She was his biggest supporter. But now he only has his dad left. And you know what he thinks? It's the business or nothing, Claude. Choose. Luckily, his aunt gets him to Paris. I mean, his dad said no, but now the universe says, prove it. At 19, Claude finally arrives in Paris, young, cocky, and ready to conquer the art world. If you had money, you went to École des Beaux-Arts. He had money, but it was just caricature money. So he joined the Académie Suisse, a scrappy and formal studio full of dreamers and rebels. One day, they go to the Louvre to copy the old masters. And Claude? Instead, he rather paints this street from the window. In that smoky studio of outsiders, he also finds his people, Camille Pissarro and Paul Cézanne. Kindred spirits would one day change everything. The city is alive, streets are buzzing with artists, cafes, and endless inspiration. Monet paints life as it happens, chasing reflections, motion, and sunshine. But the Salon looms over him like a thundercloud. At the time, the Paris Salon is the official art exhibition of the French Academy. Showing there means fame and success, while rejection could ruin your career. Monet submits a small landscape painting, and it's rejected. His first clash of many with the elite. Then, 1861, he gets drafted at 21. 7 years of military service in Algeria. Father, I know, but please, I'm begging you, get me out of this. No. Maybe the army can do what I clearly couldn't. Make a man out of you. Off to Algeria he goes, devastated and surrounded by light he can't paint. 2 years in, typhoid strikes, his body breaks before his spirit. His aunt pays for a substitute and Claude returns home, weak, broke and deeply ashamed, crawling back under his father's roof. Back already, Mr. Tough Guy? Medical dismissal? Let me guess, severe paper cut? Later that year, he moves back to Paris, and life is about to get harder, way harder. He joins Charles Glaire's studio, and guess who he bumps into there? Future legends Pierre-Auguste Renoir, Alfred Sisley, and Frédéric Basile, the future Impressionists. But wait, there's more. Then he meets his muse, Camille Doncieux, a young model he hired for his paintings, which Claude fell in love with madly. I mean, you can feel it. Their connection grows from artist and muse to partners, to the utmost disappointment of his dad. Claude, that girl that you hired, are you sniffing paint? He had problems with his father, yes, but the real heartbreak was still ahead. The Paris Salon was all about super polished, realistic paintings. Think historical, religious, or mythological scenes, with perfect figures and carefully controlled lighting. Okay, so this is how I imagine Monet submitting another painting to the Salon went down. Aha, Monet! What catastrophe have you dragged in this time? Another one of your little experiments. Look up there, this is the stuff we're looking for. The coronation of Napoleon, the death of Sardanapalus, the reft of the Medusa. 4 ladies in a garden, Monet. Pathetic. Really rejected. You really lack technique, Monet. But ironically, what you really lack is money, money, money. Monet doesn't change his style at all, but that also means that he and Camille sink further and further into poverty. Eviction after eviction, yet he still paints beauty. Look at this. The ripples in the water, the summer air, the laughter drifting across the sand. Maybe it's his escape from the pain. Look, there's Camille, sunbathing on the riverbank. The light so soft, the world so peaceful. And yet, not far from here, in this same river, he painted with such tenderness, out of utter desperation, Claude tries to drown himself. No one knows how he survives, but he does, and he keeps painting until the next disaster hits. The Franco-Prussian War breaks out. Monet can't take it anymore. Rejected by the Salon, crushed by poverty, almost killed himself. And now the army got its claws on him? Nah, enough. He flees France with Camille and his kid Jean, crossing the channel to the city of fog and smoke. London. London? Yes, London. You know, fish, chips, cup of tea, bad food, worse weather, Mary f***ing Poppins, London. Welcome to London, my friend, where the... No, seriously, the air is so bad in the 1800s. Like having a barbecue in your living room. Every day. You can't see anything. People literally just walk into traffic or into the Thames. Londoners hate it, but Monet loves the fog because it makes everything more abstract. When Monet visits the National Gallery, he's blown away by the art of James W. Turner, who bends light, weather, and atmosphere into pure emotion, capturing how the world feels rather than how it looks. In London, he also meets Paul Durand-Ruel, the first art dealer to truly believe in Monet. He gives Claude something he's never had: support, faith, and freedom. Without him, Impressionism might have never made it. Still, life isn't glamorous for Monet. Not only is he constantly chain-smoking air, he doesn't speak English. Of course, he's homesick and money is still tight. When the war ends, he leaves London. Anything to declare? Yeah, don't go to England. Monet makes a brief stop in Zaandam, a quiet Dutch town of windmills, canals, and food so bland, even the fog in London had more kick to it. He heads back to France after just a few months, where art history is about to be written, my friend, in the most painful way possible. Monet settles in Argenteuil, a sunlit town on the Seine. With Durand-Ruel's backing, he's able to rent a modest house with a garden. I'll give you the MTV Cribs tour of his place. Bonjour Camille, salut Jean, ça va? Wait, I'll show you the garden. Oh look, there's Claude. We cannot disturb him. When someone does it, he is known to throw brushes, palette knives, and even canvases, seriously. Ah, nice. You want some? See, it's right next to the Seine, all quiet and quaint. And the best thing? his own floating studio to paint the scenery. Come on, let's check it out. Monet living his best life with Camille, after all those rough years. Argenteuil gives him space, light, nature, and the peace to truly bring the visual language of Impressionism to life. But the Salon still rules with an iron fist over the French art world, and they're not a fan of Monet. Claude knows the world won't listen to him alone. Lucky for him, he's got the perfect crew to steal the show. Renoir the Rebel, Sisley, Pissarro the Planner, Degas, Magic Morisot, Cézanne, and of course, Monet the Menace. And here's what they do. A private exhibition in the heart of Paris at the legendary photographer Nadar's studio. For weeks they plan, pack and paint. The big day arrives, critics, collectors, curious Parisians, everyone is there buzzing. Monet's sunrise glows at the entrance, every painting screams light, freedom and rebellion. A declaration of independence art has never seen before. And it flops so hard. An impression of a sunrise? How convenient! I usually prefer my art finished, Monet. Critics laugh, buyers vanish, and disaster paints itself all over again. At least the name Impressionism sticks, although it starts as an insult, to be honest. Monet and the Impressionists put on 7 more shows over the next 12 years. Flops at first, but one day the talk of Paris, and eventually legendary. To make things worse, tragedy hits again in 1879 when his wife Camille dies at 32. Claude paints her on her deathbed. A final, heart-wrenching portrait of his big love where color, life and light all seem to fade at once. After years of instability and loss, Monet needs a place to heal. At 43, he moves to Giverny, a quiet village northwest of Paris. He rents this pink house with a large garden, later buys it and never moves again. Here, Monet also begins his first true series. And they're all about capturing the transience of light and time. He paints the same haystacks 25 times. This looks amazing. Or does it? Maybe I paint it like this. Or this? Oh, I love this. Wait, did I paint the first painting again? He does the same with the poplars around his house. 24 times. And eventually with the ruined cathedral. 30 times. Look, at the time nobody does this. That is unheard of, at least in such an obsessive way. Traditionalists are shocked, but buyers like it more and more. Nearly 30 years after his London exile, he returns to smoggy London. He finally paints the Thames, the House of Parliament, Charing Cross Bridge, Waterloo Bridge, dozens of canvases dissolving mist into glory. London's haze helps birth Impressionism. Now he returns as its master. Back in Giverny, he gives his garden the Monet makeover. Nice Japanese bridge, a beautiful pond, imported water lilies. He no longer paints objects, he creates them and paints change itself. Time, air, reflection, these are his subjects, until he faces the final boss battle of his life. For Monet's last decades, he suffers from cataracts, an eye disease that clouds the lens of your eye. How painful is this for someone that sees beauty in everything? For years he paints half-blind, sometimes mistaking colors, sometimes working from memory. Before he paints the water lilies in his garden like this. It looks clear, delicate, and the tones fit. Soft blues and violets now look like muted reds for him. Terrified of total blindness, he refuses surgery. As you can see, his brush strokes grow wild, shapes melt and objects blur. A mirror of his fading vision. Now we're standing on the Japanese bridge before all that happened. Bright, balanced, delicate light and shadows. And now we're standing on the bridge with advanced cataracts, blurry, abstract, predominantly warm tones. Even though his sight fails him, his inner vision grows stronger. He paints not what he sees, but what he remembers, what he feels. After his 1923 surgery, when he regained clearer vision, Monet apparently looked at his old canvases and was like, "Did I paint this?" At the end of his life, Monet poured everything into his ultimate project, the water lilies at l'Orangerie in Paris. He paints almost 200 square meters of water lilies that surround 2 oval rooms. Monet wants us to step inside his world. No edges, no horizon, the peak of everything he'd ever chased. This was his final gift, his ultimate vision of harmony, born from pain and fading sight, and a monumental treasure for all of France and the world. Few lived as long, few saw as much, few painted like Monet. He passed away at the age of 86 and returned to the very nature he had loved so much, forever entwined with the beauty he had honored all his life. What makes Monet's art so impressive isn't just the beauty he captured, it's the hard struggles, endless obsession, and painful losses that made every brush of color come alive. He fought all his life for fleeting moments, far-off dreams, hopes and desires. He fought for Impressionism, even if the Salon always saw his work as incomplete. They failed to understand that it's up to us to complete it. I know there are those who still dismiss Monet. Too soft, too pretty, just something that is beautiful, but lacks complexity. But the depth in his work isn't something you reason your way into. It's something your heart recognizes before your mind even catches up. His art doesn't speak to the intellect, it speaks to the part of you that still knows how to imagine. Monet said it best, "Everyone discusses my art and pretends to understand, as if it were necessary to understand, when it is simply necessary to love." Monet's art feels like your very first kiss, falling in love when you think you couldn't, hugging your best friend, a Studio Ghibli movie on a rainy day, your dog seeing you when you come home. It feels like finding hope after losing it for ages. It fills your heart with beauty, with peace, with love, until your heart is full, so full of everything that makes life worth living, that makes you live with love in your heart. The dreamer in me sees Claude in the green afterlife, a garden more alive and lush than anything he ever painted, where he meets his father once more and his dad says to him, "Claude, you were more stubborn and courageous than I ever dared to be. I'm sorry for the battles, the doubt, every moment I made harder than it should have been. But maybe, just maybe, it forged a small part of the person you became. And even if forgiveness isn't yours to give, know this. I am proud, fiercely, impossibly proud of you, my Claude." What a life. What a journey. Like, how grateful I am that we got to share this together. I hope you felt it too. My small, humble impression of Claude Monet's life. Now tell me, which artist should we visit next? Send me a message. Let's take this adventure to the next level together. Like, subscribe, and until then, I hope the muse of life kisses you, my friend.